everybody, welcome back to Jessica's Reading Room. My name is Kim and we are here with another video book review. This one written by the very talented Gratz. It is called Allies. It is a story about D-Day told from the perspective of multiple people. Now, Gratz, I've actually read multiple books by him. Code of Honor, Prisoner B3087, and Project 1065. Sorry, I had to actually look at the books to make sure I was getting the titles correct. I barely remember characters' names like after I read a book, so titles are even worse. I mean, what can I say? Gratz has written multiple historical fiction books for teens. There's one other book that he has written. It's called Refugee, and I have not actually read it yet, but it is on my shelf, so I'm going to read it eventually. But he is actually an excellent author for teachers to go to for historical lessons for their teenagers, for their middle schoolers. I mean, I wish I had actually known about him back when I was teaching, because I totally would have actually assigned him as reading for my history classes. But yes, he's an excellent author. Allies, I mean, he did not disappoint at all. He mainly focuses on World War II, but I know Code of Honor is also about Middle Eastern conflict, and Refugee, I mean, that sounds like it's part of the refugee crisis. I'm not sure which part of the world it is. Again, I haven't read it, so I don't know. I do have a friend who actually did read it, and he said it was really good. So I wish I could give you more information about that, but I don't know. So I'm very sorry. But anyway, Allies is about D-Day, like I said, told from the perspective of multiple people. I mean, let's see, 1, 2, 3... 4, oh no, I don't know. It says 4 in the description, but I'm pretty sure there were at least like 2 other characters that I can't quite remember their names, but in at least 4 perspectives. And I gave this book 4 stars out of 5. And that's actually the main reason that I gave it 4 stars, is because there are so many different characters and so many different points of view that it got to the point where I started forgetting who was who. Thankfully, the perspectives, I mean, they're actually pretty big chunks. So it's not just one chapter, one character, one chapter, another character. It's multiple chapters per character. So you actually get a good, you know, it's a big chunk, so you don't have to sit there and worry about, oh my gosh, well, who am I with now? But also because there were so many different characters, I felt like some of their stories were actually incomplete. While there is a resolution at the end of the book, and I mean, it was a very satisfying resolution, it felt like a lot of the stories simply jumped ahead to that point, whereas we didn't get to see them progress as much as I actually wanted to. So like I said, that's kind of my only real criticism for it. One thing that actually I really loved about it, and I'm going to wax eloquent here for a second, hopefully you guys can stick with me. But Ivan and I ended up watching the movie Dunkirk. I was really excited. It's Christopher Nolan. You know, he's a director that we absolutely adore. So I had a lot of really high expectations for it, but then when we watched it, I was actually really disappointed, because it felt like while you were getting the microcosm of these individual soldiers, you know, these individual characters, you got to see, you know, you got to see them up close, you got to see their actions, you got to see, you know, their individual stories. Unfortunately for me, it felt like the scope of the entire event then shrunk along with it. I didn't really like that part. The way the story was told, I liked the stories of the individual characters. I liked actually seeing, you know, the day play out within each individual point of view. It felt like, again, the scope suffered. You look at the movie 1917, where I was actually kind of sort of expecting the same thing to happen there. They actually managed to, again, focus on one character, his part of the war. You know, this younger soldier who had been given the task of taking a message to the front lines to stop an attack on no man's land. You know, so we're talking about all these lives were dependent on him actually getting through all this. He had to go through enemy territory, etc., etc. And I was really worried going into it because I was like, oh no, is this going to be another thing where, you know, you're focusing on the micro details of the war and you miss the bigger event? But actually that did not happen. I enjoyed the way they kept the perspective of, you know, the front lines in France, and they kept the perspective where it should be, and that is that it's, you know, a big war going on around them. That's what I liked about this book, is Gratz managed to keep the scope of World War II, of, you know, what the consequences were for D-Day, you know, what preparation went into it, you know, the cost in lives, in equipment, you know, all this. And he did it by looking at each individual character who had their own story, who had their own part to play, who was doing their own thing, but yet you still got the size of the event, you got the importance of it, you got the scope of it. And I actually really, really liked that. Each of the characters, they were really likable. I wanted to see, you know, I the whole time I'm sitting there and I'm going, oh no, my gosh, is this person going to survive? Oh no, what's going to happen to this person? Oh no. And I found myself with that, you know, that sinking feeling in my stomach. It's this sense of melancholy, you know, when you're studying, you know, things like war, things like, you know, that has such a huge death toll. And so I found myself, you know, just kind of feeling sad, but yet it was a nice sad, you know, it was seeing the triumph of the Allies coming out of D-Day, you know, the fact that the sacrifices that they had made out there on the beaches of Normandy, they actually meant something. And I mean, I absolutely recommend this to teachers, you know, in middle school and high school. Alan Gratz is such a great tool to have in those classrooms. He does a great job of, you know, being a storyteller, but yet keeping history, yet keeping the lessons in the forefront. And I really liked it. I thought it was great. Like I said, I recommend this to pretty much any middle school or high school teacher, for anyone who likes historical fiction. He is a great author to read. Allies is an excellent, excellent book, plus an excellent cover. Oh my gosh. So there you go. Allies by Alan Gratz, 4 stars out of 5. Thank you guys so much for watching. Everybody have a great day. We'll see you next time. Bye.